Okay, so greetings. This is my coming out video. I made a dress and a support outfit or a support headband to do it because I'm nervous. This is my first time being public and vocal about myself as a late recognized autistic adult. And, you know, I was tempted to wait for some sort of officiality. There's a lot of talk that says that, in order to be credible, you have to wait a crazy long time and pass a test that was designed for, you know, white infant males, which I'm none of those things. And it's been a really interesting process coming to terms with myself, with the beauty of my mind, and I have all these eloquent words that I want to say, and I put it off. First I was like, I'm gonna make this dress, then I'll be ready. I'm gonna make my headband, then I'll be ready, and I couldn't put it off anymore because I owe it to my son, who is officially diagnosed as being on the spectrum level 2, and just a whole ancestry of brown women, or entities with naturally occurring breasts, who were marginalized, who were considered sick or inconvenient, and who were hidden away. And I have a unique opportunity, unique resources to not be that, to be visible, to be vocal. And I've been so grateful to the YouTube community for being just an incredible resource. The autistic community just has so much information about how to recognize yourself as being on the spectrum, masking, unmasking, how to cope with the realities of late recognition. And it's been just so validating, but not much fun. There's just a lot about how much of a burden it is to be this way, to be neurodivergent, which, it's definitely a large part of the process of a large part of existing in this realm is a burden. But it's also so much more than that, and so I just knew I had to bring my voice because I'm the kind of person that's always ready for the next step. And I'm ready for the next step of understanding what it means to be autistic. Why are we autistic in this day and age? What is the purpose of our existence? Right? No small talk, obviously. We can't do that. Got to skip straight to the guts. I've always considered myself a unique perspective. I didn't know why until now. And I've had fun, I've had joy, I've had pride in considering myself to be an alien, hence the get up, right? And also the title. And I know that's controversial in the autistic community. I know that the media likes to portray us as anything other than human, or those of us with low assistance needs, were considered robots or, aliens, were portrayed that way. And, those of us who need more assistance are props, basically, just some mechanism for the evolution of others, without being considered valuable. And that is wrong. The media is lazy. Um, and I'm looking forward to a time where we stop using media at face value on that processed or just at face value to define ourselves as some sort of measure of what reality is or who people are. I'm looking forward to transcending that and being critical of how we define ourselves. We're in a time where we can take time to change definitions to decide what our reality is. And I consider my outside perspective, my alien perspective, as so valuable. I mean, I've always, to toot my own horn, I've always really enjoyed the fact that I'm unique, that I didn't always make sense to people, that my perspective was too blunt or um, just inconvenient. And I find comfort in reclaiming the concept of being. I mean, I'm not religious, but there's a biblical saying of being in the world, but not of it. And that's fundamentally what it's like to be autistic in this day and age, is to be here, but not swept up in the motion of a flawed reality. I think that, the only reason we consider ourselves to be disabled is because of a brittle and um, disingenuous and abusive society. It isn't because we are fundamentally flawed. It's because we have not been valued to the extent that we deserve to be valued. And that goes way back, in recent history. Um, and it's just time to reject that. I'm so excited to reject that, to be just so blissfully myself and so blissfully useful and disruptive and full of ideas, and um, to be sacrilegious or I'm not sentimental at all. I lived overseas in Ghana, which is a very Christian society, and this was before I recognized myself as being on the spectrum. I just knew that I couldn't abide by how miserable everybody was. No, I'm not calling Ghanaians miserable. You guys are far from that. Y'all are amazing. But just, I should say, the disconnect between what people want to be their reality and what they're attached to emotionally. And I'm just so excited to mine that territory, and so that's why I'm here. That's why I'm coming out of my comfort zone to bring my voice to this platform in this way as an autistic adult. Still getting used to saying that, and it feels good. But to address, the alien idea more, the visual that comes to mind, since we do use media as a reference point, what was so touching to me was remembering the story of E.T., right? Elliot, I don't know if he's headcanon as autistic. He doesn't have to be. It's for me, it's more like the visual of his relationship with E.T. Like, of all the characters, he was the most open-hearted and authentic. And that was the reason why he was trusted and sought out by the future, by what's external to what is normal, what is considered imaginary or intangible by most holistic concepts, right? He was touched because he was able to receive. And, you know, I just, I see so much relevance in that. I see how, you know, those of us on the spectrum who have fully embraced ourselves have the capacity to be that open heart, that fundamental, um, authentic, and um, oftentimes progressive, disruptive, um, and soft space in so many places. And it's disrespected because it's not convenient. It isn't um, malleable a lot of times, unless, of course, in my case, it was like beaten out of me, and I'm learning how to embrace what I had, pushed down, um, either consciously or subconsciously. Um, oh man, I lost my train of thought. Yeah, okay, Elliot. So, in raising an autistic son, I could see how I was tempted to, how I recognized myself in him. And I was like pressured and tempted to tame, to toughen up, to mask, like forcibly, yeah, contain is the word. All of his boldness. He was disrespectful often. He was wild, and he is wild, and uh, he's a free thinker. He engages things so fully, and he feels so deeply. And that I had a temp. I'm a young mother. I was a young mother when I had him, and I saw the choice that I had to embrace um, his gifts or to see them as flaws and snuff them out. And then I recognized how that process, how that same choice was given to my parents, and they chose something else. So Elliot became essentially ET. In the end, they were one and the same. And I consider being autistic in this day and age as being something that is uncanny for those who are benefiting from the suppression of authenticity. It's inconvenient. It's something that needs to be sequestered or isolated, studied, contained. Um, those are all the same words. But, it needs to be mitigated. And I'm not with that. I'm so excited to be vocal and unashamedly other. So that is why the title of my offerings will be Ask an Alien or an Autistic. Because I'm reclaiming that concept. There's nothing more human, more feeling, more genuine than an autistic individual, wherever they lie on the spectrum, however they identify. We are so full of sensation and receptivity, and how that is received. There might be a mismatch between the way that holistic or traditional society receives the way we offer what we feel, but the level to which we experience this reality is so sacred and important. Um, you know, I have this whole list. I wrote this whole list of what I want to say, but yeah, I'm, yeah, I think I'm basically, maybe I'm rambling a little bit, but um, there's nothing more human than us. But at the same time, there's nothing more on the edge of, I consider humanity, the concept of being human, an elastic concept. And if it is, there's nothing more on the cutting edge or the stretching end exploration of what it means to be human than autism, right? Because, well, first of all, there's more of us popping up, those of us who are hidden and suppressed, and then those who are being born. And there's a reason that we're coming in right now. We're actually able to receive the downloads of different neurodivergent perspectives. I'm a mystic. I am a Reiki practitioner. I'm a birth educator. Um, and I've always had this understanding that what I'm learning as I engage with the world from a different perspective, I didn't know that it was an autistic perspective. I just knew that it wasn't like my parents. It wasn't like my friends. Um, it wasn't like most of society. And I knew that as I was engaging the world, I was picking up these nuggets of understanding that needed to be voiced in some way. And I'm just so grateful to have a lens that makes sense, you know. Um, yeah, so I think that's pretty much it for now. I think what it means to be an autistic in this day and age is to be a useful perspective. Autism might not be a superpower, but it is a super perspective. So thank you for witnessing my coming out. And I look forward to talking more about what it means to be neurodivergent. Yeah. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. Be kind to yourself, be gentle with yourself, and um, keep striving to create a kinder society and world. I love you.